Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Veronica, and this video combines a tag video with something I've been wanting to do for a long time. The YouTuber's name who started this is, her channel goes by Your Fragrant Friend Jay, and the idea of the tag is to talk about the house from which you have the most fragrances. So I'll link her video and channel down below. I hope you check her out. She's newer. I love to show love to channels that are beginning. They're new in their journey and are doing really good work. So please go check her out. You'll like her. She's adorable. So I actually have the most fragrances from Guerlain. I have about 20 fragrances from Guerlain, but I have been wanting to do a video on Lancôme, in particular Maison Lancome, for a while now. So I hope you will indulge me as I cheat just a little bit and talk about my Maison Lancome fragrances. I have 16 from Lancome, 14 of which are from the Maison line. So I'd like to chat with you about those today. It is my very favorite collection, although I have to say, Miss Carolina Herrera's Confidentials line is coming in close second. She came to slay with that line, and my husband and I are collecting those, so that may end up replacing Maison Lancome. I don't know, I'm kind of loyal, and this was the first special line that I fell in love with, so we're gonna show loyalty to Maison Lancome. These are beautiful fragrances, highly underrated. You know about one of them, Oud Bouquet, gets love upon love upon love heaped on it. And maybe a couple of others get some shine on YouTube, but I love them all. I think they're all works of art. They're all mini masterpieces in some form or fashion. Maybe not all are like my top favorites, like they're not in my top 10, but I have a great appreciation for how beautiful they are. They smell of quality. They've performed well on me, and I have just enjoyed them tremendously, including the gorgeous bottles that they come in. I'll start with the 4 smaller bottles that I have and then go into the bigger ones. I talked about Oud Bouquet being super popular and nearly forgot that this next one, or this first one rather, gets tremendous love on YouTube, or did at one point. People aren't talking about it quite as much as they were maybe a year or two ago. And it is Jasmins Marzipane. Lovely fragrance. I really need to get a bigger bottle of this. This is jasmine, and this is almond, and this is vanilla, and this is sandalwood all together. A really creamy fragrance. I adore it. I think it's wonderful. It's one that's not for everyone. If you don't like almond and if you don't like jasmine, stay away, okay? But if those are your kind of notes, you may appreciate this. It's one that could play off as clean, like fresh out of the shower clean, just as much as it can play a date night fragrance. I love the note of almond. I love jasmine. Do you say almond or do you say almond? I say both. Today I'm just going to go with almond because I want to, but I really want a big bottle of Jasmins Marzipane, which I don't know why, because I haven't made my way even through this, whatever size bottle this is, 30 ml or something. I've only gotten to here, but really quite lovely. Next up is another one that I should probably get a full bottle of because I really like it, and it is Figues and Agrumes. Figues and Agrumes. This is fig, this is citrus, this is jasmine. I think that this smells a lot like Jasmins Marzipane, except more fig, and fig sometimes comes across to the nose like coconut. So it's almost like a figgy coconut instead of the almond thing. Like if you replace the almond in Jasmins Marzipane with a little bit of fig coconut kind of thing, you got fig and agrumes. Fig and agrumes. Gruma? I love this. This is beautiful. Citrus, fig, jasmine. Yes, yes, more yes. Lovely for summertime. But here's what I love about all of the Maison Lancome fragrances. They may have like a season that you can associate with them, but they also have enough oomph and bass, most of them, not all, to really make it through all of the seasons quite nicely. Let's move on. Third in my lineup is oranges or orange Bigarades. Ooh, this is a happy, happy fragrance. If you like citrus, if you like orange, you definitely want to try this out. People complain that this isn't long lasting. I don't care. I will spray myself down in this. It's a very happy fragrance. Orange, bergamot, tea. But I love that it also has vanilla and sandalwood to make it, give it like a touch of creaminess and some depth. A nice, beautiful orange. So some of your citrus fragrances are super light and fleeting. So maybe this doesn't last the longest. It lasted fine on me, like half a day. But what I really love about this is that it's orange with presence. It has a nice thick base to it to sort of ground it as a fragrance and make it not feel so fleeting or smell so fleeting to the nose. I hope that makes sense. Next is a fragrance that is rather light in that it doesn't have as much presence or substance as the others that I'm going to talk about. I still think that it's pretty. I don't know that I'm going to get a full bottle of this because I'm not sure that of all the ones that I've tried, this is maybe the one that's not full bottle worthy compared to the price. It's Pivoines Printemps, which I think means spring peonies. So this is a peony and rose fragrance. There's some pepper in here. It's fresh, it's light, it's girly, it's pretty. It doesn't have a whole lot of presence or lasting power, but boy, is it lovely for what it is. If you like a light skin scent that is appropriate for multiple kinds of occasions. You can go to work in it, you can go to brunch, you can go to parties, daytime parties, and that sort of thing, and not offend people but smell pretty, you might be interested in Pivoines Printemps. How'd I do on pronunciation? So those are my 4 small bottles. Let's get into the bigger bottles. I will start off with my least favorite of my big bottles, which is not saying anything because I do really like this a lot, but it's one that had to grow on me because at the time that I purchased it, I wasn't really like super fanatical about rose fragrances. I've since come around and have a bunch in my collection, but it's Magnolia Rosae. So before we talk about the fragrance, this is what the bigger bottles look like. The newer ones only, I believe, have 1 gold plate instead of the 2. They all have these magnetic caps on them. They're substantial bottles, very nice. I really just adore that the plate on here has a floral motif that tells you a little bit about the fragrance. So this one is rose, magnolia, and musk. And it is a beautiful floral. If you like rose, if you like magnolia, not the steel cold magnolia, but a warmer magnolia, this is a lovely fragrance. This thing has lasting power. You spray and you're going to smell this all day. It's pretty. You're going to get compliments. It's very delightful. Really a nicely done fragrance, Magnolia Rosae. I recommend it if you're into beautiful florals. Really lovely, kind of like a pure floral with a hint of musk. The next one is really hard to get a hold of, or at least it was for a while because it was either discontinued or I don't know what was going on, but it showed up on Fragrance by CA and people ran to grab it. I don't know if it's still available, but I was one of the people that ran to get a bottle of it. Lavandes Trianon. Listen, this fragrance, it's one that could potentially smell really awful to you if you're not into fragrances that have like a milky base to them. So this is milky, this has almond, this has lavender in it, powdery, it does have some vanilla in it, but it's heavily like milky. Lactonic is the technical word for it. And it's light. So this is one that you put on and you think maybe other people can't smell you because it feels like so light in texture, but other people can. It has nice presence. It's not beast mode at all. It has a nice little scent bubble. It's comforting. If you like lavender and if you like lactonic or milky fragrances, this is one to try out. A beautiful vanilla to sweeten it up as well. A lovely composition. Is it my favorite? No. Is it a beauty in and of itself? 100%. Lavandes Trianon. We all know about this next one. We've heard about it ad nauseum, but it still deserves some light because this thing is something else. Oud Bouquet. Listen up. Do not overspray this. You will hurt feelings and break hearts. This thing is beyond beast mode. It is nuclear. I made the mistake of overspraying this. And by that, I mean maybe a handful of sprays. A handful. Guys, with some fragrances, I literally will spray 15 or 20 times before I walk out of the door. I sprayed a handful of times with this bad boy, and I alienated my family. They hated me. They didn't want to be anywhere near me. They thought I just smelled way too pungent. They liked the smell. It was just, well, let me correct that. My husband liked the smell. Kids don't like this. It's too much for most young noses. This is a heavily oudy, rosy, spicy fragrance. It has a praline note in there that sweetens the whole composition up. It has a very soft, supple, is supple a word that you can use to describe a rose fragrance? It's like a wet, juicy rose, not a dry, fresh green rose. And it has some powerful, soft, sweet oud in here, but it projects so far and it lasts forever, forever, ever, forever, ever. Be careful with Oud Bouquet. This one is not playing around. 2 sprays max, and maybe do it in the air and walk through it kind of thing. But this is a beautiful fragrance. If you're into oudy sweet scents with a little bit of floral, try Oud Bouquet. Next is Iris or Iris Dragees. This is iris through and through. It's powdery, it's musky. It's also sweet and a little bit nutty. There's an almond note in here. If you don't like iris, if you don't like lipsticky kinds of smells, you will not like this. If that's your vibe, you may want to try this out. This is another one I believe is discontinued, so hard to get a hold of, but you can certainly check secondhand sites like eBay, Mercari, and so forth. Absolutely a beautiful iris, powdery, musky fragrance. Really light, soft, feminine, delicate fragrance. Lovely. I also have Patchouli Aromatique. I really enjoy this. This is a lovely patchouli fragrance. It's woody. It has a little vetiver in it. It has sage, so it gives you that herbally thing. It's earthy. It's not like a dirty patchouli. There's something also sweet in here. This is lovely. You have to be in the mood to wear it, just like any of these fragrances. These are really particular kinds of smells. They're a lot of whatever they are, if that makes sense, and unique in their own ways. This also has a hint of spice in it. I like this. This leans feminine to me. Certainly gentlemen can pull this off. Patchouli Aromatique. Lovely. Absolutely gorgeous. A fragrance that leans maybe more masculine. If Patchouli Aromatique leans a little bit more feminine, then Santal Kardamon leans a little bit more to the masculine side, but I adore this. This has a really interesting note composition, just a few. There's pepper and orange at the top. It has a liquor in the middle, a liquor note. In the base, you get sandalwood and vanilla and leather and patchouli, amberwood. There's a cardamom note in the middle. It's spicy. It's creamy, it's sweet, it's leathery, but in a masculine way. And I enjoy wearing this with chunky sweaters. It reminds me of that, or like a leather coat. This would complement a leather coat quite nicely. Santal Kardamon, gorgeous. They're all gorgeous. I keep saying that. You can probably take a sip every time I say the word gorgeous. We're down to the last 2, and I think these are simply, they're gorgeous. They're even more gorgeous than the other ones that I mentioned. That's the word for the video, right? Oud Ambrosie. I learned about this one through Joss Jane, who loves this. This is one of her favorites. So I blind bought it, and I'm so glad that I did. This has vibes like Oud Bouquet. It's right between Oud Bouquet and the next one that I'm going to talk about. So imagine that the rose is a bit more pronounced in Oud Bouquet. The sweetness of it is toned down and replaced with a honey note, and you might get a sense of what Oud Ambrosie is like. It's maybe a little bit lighter than Oud Bouquet and more leaning toward the floral and honey end of things. Lovely, very grown up, not for the faint of heart, definitely like a hearty smell. It's a chewy fragrance. Paula Bianca here on YouTube did a whole video on chewy fragrances, which I love. If I find it, I'll link it below. Go check that out. But she talks about fragrances being so substantive and meaty that they're nearly chewy. Oud Ambrosie falls into that category. Definitely like a lovely late fall, deep winter fragrance. But my all-time favorite from this line, and one that I dare call an actual masterpiece of a fragrance, not all will agree with me, and that is okay. It is L'Autre Oud. Oh, this fragrance captured my heart. When I go by my collection and look at it, my heart goes pitter-patter, and I can't wait to wear it again. It's one of those that I don't want to overwear because it's so special to me. I want it to give me that shock factor every time I put it on. If you like rose, if you like incense, and I'm talking about a church incense, right? That deep, magnificent, woody incense, you might like L'Autre Oud. This also has a little bit of a leather undertone to it. I got saffron at the top, which can contribute to that leather thing, labdanum, which can also help with that, cypriol oil. There's moss and patchouli in the base. It has agarwood, which is oud, in the middle and in the base. Gaiac wood, myrrh. This is just, it has a balsam in here. This is a gorgeous fragrance. There's nothing about this that I don't like. This lasts forever and ever and ever. I sprayed it on a blotter. I left that blotter on my desk. A week later, I came back and it was just as powerful on the blotter as the day that I sprayed it. This is not playing, you guys. This is the business. If you like I said, a rosy, incensey, woody, oudy masterpiece, get your hands on L'Autre Oud. Love this. That's my review of Maison Lancome. I cheated, as I said, and I'm pretending that this is the house that I have the most fragrances of because I wanted to do the tag from your fragrant friend Jay and talk about Maison Lancome. If you have others from Maison Lancome that you love, please put it in the comments so we can all learn about it and enjoy it together. Hope you enjoyed. Have a wonderful one, friends. Take care.